Hey, what's up, you awesome dudes, and welcome to Rage 2, a single-player first-person open-world shooter developed by Avalanche Studios in conjunction with id Software. Think of this game as a crossover between Doom and Just Cause with a little bit of pink, if you will. But anyway, in today's video, what I got for you guys is a beginner's guide with some of the most important tips and tricks new players should know of. And since the game features a lot more than just shooting, with a lot of skills, weapons, upgrades, and even vehicles in it, there is quite a lot to take in, so let's jump right into it. Also, a quick reminder of our giveaway. You can take part in it by following the link down below and take a chance at winning literally any game you want, including of course today's Rage 2. The giveaway was made possible thanks to Instant Gaming, which is a website that lets you buy games at really big discounts. For example, at the time of making this video, Rage 2 is 40% off on their website using the affiliate link down below. But with that being said and done, let's start with the first tip on the list. And once you finish the rather short tutorial, Rage 2 gives you a lot of freedom on how to move on forward. You can move on straight towards the story missions if you want to, or go ahead and explore the open world for a little bit. There is no restriction outside of the initial tutorial to speak of. Now, at first you won't see that many points of interest on the map, such as random events, outposts, missions, arcs, and so on, and that is because you need to discover most of these. Discovering points of interest is done, for the most part, in two major ways, either by randomly stumbling across them or by talking to various NPCs in cities. There are several cities or trade towns in this game, and you will eventually come across them as you follow the story, so don't worry about it, you won't miss them out or anything. But once inside your first town, keep a lookout for various NPCs that have a white text icon over their head. This means you can engage in conversations with these NPCs, and most of the time they will give you info on something like an encounter, an outpost, or a mission, and even an arc, which I'll go over in just a bit. And these locations will obviously get marked on your map following the conversation itself, and there's even button prompts as soon as that happens to show you exactly where that has been revealed. Also, you don't need to listen to the entire dialogue sequence. There's a convenient skip dialogue button that you can use, so take note of that. Now, coming up at number 2, I've talked about arcs, and these are basically the main source of new abilities as well as some of the weapons in the game. In the beginning of the game, you will have a handful of them already shown on the map, and I suggest you pay them all a visit as soon as you finish the tutorial to unlock some of the good skills they give you, such as the graph jump, the dash, the defibrillation, and so on. But later on, as you explore more and talk to NPCs in town, you will get other arcs revealed as well, many of which can also give you new weapons that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. All of these arcs will require you to fight your way through the various enemies that guard them before you can unlock them, and once you do that, head over inside using your focus ability, grab your new toy, and there's even a nice simulation to teach you the new basics of your new acquired skill or weapon, so that is pretty awesome. And later on I will also make a full video containing all of the arcs in the game. I just need a little bit more time until that happens. Anyway, coming up next at number 3, with your newly acquired weapons and abilities also comes the possibility of upgrading them. Going over the abilities first, these are called nanotrites, and there's 11 of them in total in the game, most of which will require you to manually find them through these arcs I was talking about. Luckily enough, they all have their locations indicated in their descriptions, so in case you miss one, you can start from there, and all of them have several levels each that further buff up the ability itself, and you can unlock these levels using feltrite. If you don't know what feltrite is, it's basically those blue crystals you find from fallen enemies, supply caches, as well as randomly through the world, including of course from walls and even meteorites. Furthermore, each level you unlock has several perks each that you can further invest points in, called nanotrite boosters, and you get these nanotrite boosters from arc chests, randomly from vendors, as well as intel traders in towns, so pay attention to where you're going to, but more often than not you will find these anyway. The same principles applies to weapons as well, but with a few exceptions. First, each weapon has 5 levels in total that you can unlock using the same feltrite I was talking about earlier. The exception is now that these levels don't give boosts anymore, they just unlock the possibility for you to invest points in certain perks. From what I saw so far, level 2 and 4 always give you the possibility to choose between 2 perks, while levels 3 and 5 will give you the option to pick only one, and you will still need to unlock these perks themselves using the weapon core mods. Now, weapon core mods is another currency or another item that you get to use to unlock weapon perks, and just like the nanotrite Nanotite boosters, you unlock these from ARC chests, random vendors, as well as intel traders. Coming up at number 4, we have the projects, which is another level of progression for your character. Outside of the basic one you get early on that fully unlocks your vehicles, there's 3 more specific ones for the 3 major characters that you will encounter in this game and through the story, and you'll basically do missions for them anyway. But these are John Marshall's Kill and Destroy project that is mainly focused around combat, Lusam's Hagar Capture and Control, which is more focused on engineering and crafting items, and finally Dr. Kvazir's project, which is focused on nanotrites. To unlock these projects, you first need to talk to each of these NPCs and do their initial quests, which is perfect because you'll do that anyway as soon as you finish the tutorial. You progress through each tier by unlocking at least 2 perks in it using something called project points, and these project points are another currency that you will get from completing locations and activities on the map, and as you even complete these, you will also get more reputation with these 3 characters to advance you through the story itself, so it's pretty much a win-win situation. Moving on to number 5, we have vehicles, and these are just as important as everything else, as you will make great use of them to traverse through the big map of Rage 2. Your initial vehicle that you unlock as soon as you finish the tutorial is called the Phoenix, but there are more than a dozen or so other vehicles you can acquire through the game. Most of them are randomly found through the wastelands, and if you see one, the general rule is that you can grab it, bring it back to town and pretty much make it yours, as you can store it in your garage. Other vehicles, on the other hand, will require you to finish a certain mission, a racing event, or reaching a certain project level. Of all of these vehicles, only your Phoenix has an upgrade system and is the only one you can purchase upgrades, but it's a ton of fun to do that. There's a ton of new toys you can add to your vehicle, to your Phoenix, and these come in all sorts of forms and shapes, like rocket launchers, ejecting seats, even shields and mortars and so on. So it's pretty cool, it's pretty detailed, and you unlock them by using auto parts, and you get these auto parts randomly from ARC chests, from vendors, and the best of all, from races as well as enemy convoys. There is also a neat vehicle summon feature that you can use in the game, and it will cost you money depending on the size of the vehicle you summon, but it's very convenient. It's not that immersive, but it's definitely a lot of convenience and added gameplay fun. Coming up at number 6, we have character augmentations, and if you thought that the upgrade system stops here, well, it's not. We also have these augmentations on top, which are basically straight out stats boost for your health, your overdrive duration, as well as weapon damage. These augmentations can be done at the Cyber Dock in Wellsprings, but you will need 3 items or currencies to do that, which are of course the Arc Tech Cores, the Life Glands, as well as the Neurotic Interfaces. Many of these can drop from random enemies and also chests, even ARC chests, and you can also purchase them from random vendors, so pay close attention to the vendors. Vendors are very important in this game, which is a tip in itself that I'm gonna give you. Anyway, each upgrade is a 5% increase for that stat. Furthermore, you can also reset your nanotrite abilities at the same Cyber Dock if you want to, and for example, if you want to reassign your points early on, but later on it's probably going to be a rather useless feature. At number 6, Rage 2 features a nifty crafting system that lets you create pretty much most of the consumables you use anyway. This all happens under the inventory tab, where you hold your wing stick, your grenades, the various infusions for health, for all of the stuff that you have over there, as well as the turret drone. All of these items have several levels each, and you unlock new levels by purchasing specific schematics from random vendors in trade towns. Each new schematic unlocks a new level, with the second level always letting you craft that item using the crafting materials you already have in your inventory, and you can pretty much find these crafting materials through the world anyway by smashing boxes from NPCs, and you're gonna pretty much be drowned in it anyway. You can even check how many resources you have in the resource tab in the same category if you want to. Moving on to number 8, we have the focus ability, which has more than just a few uses. At a basic level, you can use focus to reveal enemies behind walls and all of that, at opening arcs as well as arc chests, and even repairing your own vehicle. But outside of that, it's also very useful to reveal the objectives required to clear a certain location, as well as if there's any items of interest in that location specifically, so stuff like, for example, storage containers, data pads, and so on. And you can even further improve this ability to also detonate exploding barrels and even speed up your health regeneration while using the ability itself. So it's definitely a very useful one to have, and way more uses than you might think of. The number 9 tip I have for you guys is to pay attention to visual cues, especially the stuff that is painted in pink. The pink color used in the trailers wasn't just for marketing, but instead it has a bigger significance in the game as well. All the points of interest in the game, such as buttons that you need to press, levers that you need to pull, as well as wheels you need to turn, all have this color if they're of interest. So for example, if you're doing a mission and you need to go to the next level or take an elevator up, you will see that being painted with this color. And this is especially noticeable, of course, during the missions themselves, but also inevitably during the open world. Furthermore, don't be afraid to steer off the beaten path and explore inside even missions, as oftentimes you will find hidden areas with hidden chests, resources, and even lore entries from data pads that you can grab to further progress you through the game. And finally, the number 10 tip I have for you guys is to check out the Mutant Bosch TV and the race events on the map. The Mutant Bosch TV is basically like an arena horde mode that you can take part in and fight through waves of enemies, and the better you are at eliminating them, the more coins you will score, which you can later use at the shop right outside the area itself. And the shop sells some cool skins for various weapons as well as other items you might find useful in combat, and the same goes for races as well, by the way. Doing these races unlocks a new vehicle as well as skins for that vehicle as you win more and more races, which is pretty fun in itself. And you can also find random characters challenging you to races while randomly exploring the open world, and generally I recommend you taking part in them as they're pretty fun. The story isn't blockbuster material or anything, but gameplay is definitely the strong point here, and it's also a very pretty looking game, if I might say so. It looks definitely nice, it's also well optimized on my system. I had no problems with it, no crashes, it's pretty smooth so far. Anyway, stay tuned for more Rage 2 content, but that is all I have for now. In the meantime, as always, comment down below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later, so peace out.